since we are talking about civil liberties and we're talking about what, again, jurisprudence, if you will, we would obviously be amiss to not talk about what happened today.
Remiss, but jurisprudence was a good word for you.
I got some in my arsenal.
That was fancy. We would be remiss.
Maybe I could have been an attorney, but it wasn't
remiss.
for me. So for those of you who obviously have been paying attention, and I'm sure most of you have been, obviously the Supreme Court ruled 9-0, unanimous. Supreme Court restores Trump to ballot, rejecting state attempts to ban him over Capitol attack. Again, as you said, everything gets framed in a partisan lens these days, which I think is very dangerous. Again, we're not supporters of Trump, but we are supporters of due process. And there are a lot of people in the higher echelons of the political arena who really don't think due process is necessary anymore. And a lot of them were obviously very upset. And even though they want to frame this as a conservative decision, I don't know, when all 9 justices say this doesn't work, 2 things happen here. Number 1, justice does get done. And 2, this only makes Trump look better to the independent voter. Yeah. And it makes the Democrats look even stupider because they're still trying to fight it off by suggesting that the court ruled inappropriately today.
And I don't think they did at all. I agree with this completely. What are your thoughts, Jean? Because to me, I always thought that for a state to be using the 14th Amendment, which doesn't specifically say president and doesn't specifically say whether or not someone should or should not have due process. There was just a lot of iffy things in it. I'm like, this is never going to work. They're never going to be able to do that through their state and have that work. And then I was actually listening to somebody on a show today where they were upset that the court didn't address it was the specifics of that case, the facts of that case. It was something about whether or not, they didn't address whether or not Trump in fact did commit an insurrection. And I'm like, did we not have Schoolhouse Rock? Do people not understand that the Supreme Court is not going to decide? You know what I'm saying? It's so off the wall.
Yeah. So I'll say it with the caveat, I haven't read the Supreme Court's decision, but I did read the Colorado Supreme Court's decision whenever that came out. It strikes me as problematic to have a court find that the former president is guilty of a crime he hasn't been convicted of. And it sets a really terrible precedent. I mean, I thought, people on the left are supposed to believe in innocent until proven guilty. We all are. And so what's the standard? I don't want to, opine on the specifics of the Supreme Court's ruling since I haven't read that yet, but it struck me as the right decision. And usually when all 9 justices agree on something, which is rare, it can't really be painted as a conservative versus liberal.
Well, I just have to come on here and let everybody know that it's very important. It was the greatest, most important decision that's ever been made in the history of the Supreme Court. And I put 3 of those justices on there.
Yeah.
It's really great.
Yeah.
We are going to
Thanks for Amy Coney Island, by the way.
Excuse me, I'm talking. We are going to make America great again in 24, and you're seeing it every day. So remember, the Trump train still has room.
Oh, my God.
If you want to get on board.
Jenin, he's inviting you onto the Trump train.
You're a lovely lady. I understand that you might not like me, but you'll eventually grow to appreciate me.
You're kind of lechy. You're kind of lechy.
Yes, but I get things done, and that's what counts. So make sure that you go over to Trump.
The little hands is so ridiculous.
Excuse me. You're still supporting this campaign. You're going to get on board. We're going to keep winning. You're going to get so tired of winning, you're going to keel over and not know what to do. That's what's going to happen. It's going to be really great. So stay on board. It's a great ride. It's going to get bumpy every once in a while, but that's okay because eventually it will all end with us winning in 24.
Oh, yeah, you're a winner.
We'll make America great again in 24. Goodbye.
This is ridiculous.
You captured it. That was eerie.
Isn't that funny? Because the mask with the hands, to me, it's it really accentuates the small hand component.
Yeah, and it's always a combination of a few things. We go from Peter funny to please stop.
I know. Well, Chip. I don't love it either, but you know what? We get clips from it, and it's, we got to do what we got to do.
Sometimes you really have to wonder if the intention of the way that it's being done is to get him back. But I have said this, and I will maintain this merely from a political observational perspective. I think if he gets in again, even if there is an element of the Democratic establishment that wants him back because they see it as a financial windfall of sorts, I don't think they will have anywhere near the success that they did the first time. I think there are too many people that are aware of this game in a way where it almost looks like they're trying to help him get back in there again, because they see it as like, this is, again, you've always said, politics is just a different form of, wrestling. Like
it's WWF. This is, and I always say F because I'm old, but I guess it's E now. Is it W? I don't know. It's Monday Night Raw. That's all I say. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But it's absurd. It's just so silly. I honestly don't know why people even bother to go to their press conferences and ask them questions, because you're not going to get the truth.
Yeah, I've sort of started tuning it out, honestly. I used to pay a lot of attention to politics, and at this point I'm like, really, Biden, Trump, it's just so ridiculous. I can't.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and I honestly, at this point, I can't fathom how anybody who has any connection whatsoever to Palestine is not in sort of like having mental pain right now and not going through a lot of stuff. And there is just no way that the Democrats can overcome this, and they never should, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Like it's done.
Jenin, I'm curious. We talk obviously about the fact that the two-party duopoly, the system in general, is obviously it's breaking. It's breaking. I think everybody recognizes that. But what I'm curious from your perspective, let's say RFK is the one legitimate third-party candidate that really, he gets on the ballots, he's able to, potentially get, who knows? Well, let's just say he gets over 10% of the vote. Do you see a circumstance this time, a generation later from Ross Perot, where it isn't just going to be this sort of flash in the pan, okay, well, a third-party candidate did pretty well. Do you see a circumstance where a legitimate third party could actually get established as a result of this particular election cycle?
I thought so for a while, and I was actually over the summer, I was really kind of a fan, and I was, to the extent I could call myself that about a politician, I was really set to vote for him, and then he came out in favor of whatever Israel wanted to do in Gaza. So I unfortunately will not be able to vote for him, regardless of.
And what, you don't like Rabbi Shmuley?
not a fan of that guy.
Oh my God!
Real on top of who he is and what he represents,
so
he is a creepy guy.
Oh no, he's so gross.
Extremely. And I will tell you, I actually went to his launch in Philadelphia back in October.
RFK is not Shmuley's.
Yeah.
It took her a second. I'm like, no, Shmuley, thank God is not.
Although he did speak, and of course he thought it was
whatever,
show, which is always interesting. But it was interesting to see the thousands of people that were there and the mix of all different walks of the political spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the danger.
Diversity.
It's so painful that he can be so bad on this issue.
Yes.
That he could fumble it all away. But he
could have it.
Yeah.
It could be his.
Yeah. I mean, look, a viable third party coming out of this is probably great, even if it's somebody who says Israel should do whatever they want in Gaza, including blow it to smithereens. I hate to say that, but
well, we're getting that regardless.
Yeah, exactly.
We're getting that regardless. So if somebody can smash the duopoly in the process.
Yeah, exactly. In fact, I don't even know what Trump's view on the subject is. I'm sure he doesn't have a very coherent.
He moved the embassy to Jerusalem.
I did a great thing.
You know what? Now people will sit there and say that, but it would be worse under Trump. You know what? First of all, there's
convinced of that.
Well, no. It doesn't matter because there is no worse.
Yeah.
There's genocide.
Right.
What's the worse?
Yeah.
Or else. Yeah. They're shaking in their boots about Trump now.
Yeah.
It's just the level of privilege for people that actually think that makes a difference in terms of threat to people that are in a bad way. Even in this country, people that are in a really bad way, that are working 3 jobs and busting ass and can't make ends meet.
Yeah.
People like that don't even have time to vote. They're not scared of Trump.
Yeah. I was speaking with a relative of mine, I won't name, and I was saying, well, it might be better under Trump. And she said, well, but he wouldn't be doing something better for the right reasons. And I was like, if you're in Gaza, I don't think you care what reason the American president has for putting pressure on Israel to stop this.
No, even if he does it to make himself look like the hero. Exactly. Yeah. That's the thing. He has less of an attachment to any political ideology. Thanks for watching. If you want to support our mission to transform politics into service, please like this video, subscribe, follow us on social media, and consider joining our Patreon, where you'll get early access to our interviews as well as other exclusive content. Links are in the description. Peace out.